Welcome back. Boris Johnson has outlined the next steps in the easing of coronavirus lockdown measures in England. From the 1st of August, the UK government will stop telling people to work from home, giving more discretion to employers on whether it's safe for staff to actually return to the workplace. For more, we can talk to Paul Barber. He joins us live from West London. Hello, Paul. Paul, what more then can you tell us?
Yes, hi Hannah. In normal times, this West London business park would be teeming with thousands of employees and probably some of them spending quite a bit of money on some post-work drinks, especially on a beautiful summer's evening, Friday evening of course. But in reality, there are very few people here, despite the fact that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, started encouraging people to return to work last week. Very few people have. The official guidance had remained that you should continue to work from home if you can, and that you should avoid public transport. Well, that all changed today when Boris Johnson launched what he called the next chapter in our coronavirus recovery strategy. After a week of ministerial mixed messages, this was a big moment as Boris Johnson seeks to get Britain back to business. Citing the continuing decline in COVID-19 deaths, the government has changed its official guidance for England about working from home and using public transport.
We are making clear that anybody may use public transport, while of course encouraging people to consider alternative means of transport where they are available. From the 25th of this month, July, we've already committed to reopening indoor gyms, pools and other sports facilities. From the 1st of August, we will update our advice on going to work. Instead of government telling people to work from home, we're going to give employers more discretion and ask them to make decisions about how their staff can work safely. That could mean, of course, continuing to work from home, which is one way of working safely and which has worked for many employers and employees.
For the opposition, there's still not enough clarity for companies and consumers.
Well, there's going to have to be guidance. There's got to be more than the Prime Minister said today. But businesses have to be confident that it is safe for people to come back to work. They need to be confident that the government has taken the measures necessary. That's where track, trace and isolate, local lockdown measures are crucially important. Confidence is going to be the key in all of this.
August, though, will bring more summer treats, indoor performances, bowling, ice rinks and beauty parlours, and with sports stadium events possibly by autumn. And more tantalising still, a light at the end of the tunnel.
It is my strong and sincere hope that we will be able to review the outstanding restrictions and allow a more significant return to normality from November at the earliest, possibly in time for Christmas.
But the caveats are plentiful. Even with a pledge to get test and trace capacity up to 500,000 a day by October, there are fears of a winter wave of flu, compounding a second spike of coronavirus. Boris Johnson announced nearly $4 billion in extra funding for the National Health Service to be battle-ready, as he put it. It's a delicate balancing act, getting people back to work while protecting their health. The Governor of the Bank of England said this week that the country will be in recession for a long time if commuters don't start to feel more confident about using public transport again. Train passenger numbers are still at just 20% of pre-lockdown levels. That's because most workers are not coming to offices in city centres. And that means they're not spending money in shops, cafes, bars and restaurants. The government also announced new powers for local authorities in England to enforce local lockdowns when COVID cases flare up. The Prime Minister said massive British common sense had got the virus under control. But whether Britain is ready to get back to work and normal life is still a big unknown. Well, that line about things possibly getting back to normal by Christmas will understandably be getting a lot of attention and newspaper front pages. But the Chief Medical Advisor and the Chief Scientific Officer have been giving evidence in front of a House of Lords committee this afternoon, and they rather brought things back down to earth, saying that even with more contact tracing and the introduction of face coverings, social distancing, having to stay at least 1 metre apart, that would likely have to continue. In fact, it would likely need to continue for a, quote, long period of time. Back to you guys.
Paul Barber talks to us from West London. Thank you very much, Paul.